Okay, so when I have int, right? Can you see this? When I have int, right? And I've declared whatever I want to declare as an int. What Java will do is when I run the application, Java will create a temporary storage, like memory is like storage. It creates that temporary storage. And okay, for this primitive type, let me just give it to you. And it works. Let me not go. I think I'm going deep. So it just returns it. And afterward, it destroys the memory. Let's just put it that way. It destroys the memory. It doesn't, it's not going to use it again. Because, we said that it's temporary. But when it's like a reference, the reference has to do with if. So it's just, when you're talking about if, just look at it this way. When I go to the beach, you can heap up sand. You see, it's like building. It's like building. So it's still the same way. Whenever you create a reference in Java, I'm explaining Java. I've also explained Python, that Python sees everything like as an object. So you can just pick it the same way I explain object in Java. You can also be like that for Python. So it's whenever I say, okay, for this string, hello. Okay, so you have string here, Alice. What it does is it creates a reference. It creates its own memory. It's not destroyed, really. It's not destroyed, but you see for this int, as time goes on, it's being destroyed. I don't know if you have a question here. So we'll just take it a step at a time. Please, do you have any question? Am I the only one in this class? Jesus. Please, let's go.
I can hear you. So you mean that a string is created as an object? I heard you say something like that.
Yes. A string is a reference type, really, in
Okay.
Java. Yes, a string is a reference type. So, and the size of primitives are very small compared to your reference type. So, let's look at a real world example for my data type. Every time we have to stop sharing. Okay. Let me share again. Okay. Share. So now let's use all of this, all of the things that we have. I want to write strange. Okay, before I even move on, let's talk about variable so that we'll be able to understand why I am doing this. So you know that in the house, right? There's a place if you buy milk, your provision, right? There are some provision that is refill. You put it inside, you store it inside a plate or something like a container, really. So variables are like a storehouse, really. They are like a storehouse where you store. So they're like a store, really. They help to store your data. So your data are like let's say hello, how are you? I just have hello, how are you? How can I store it in a place in a way that the computer will understand? So storing it is in any place is called variable. The way I need to store it is I'll store it in a variable, right? So before I can store the variable, I will need the data type. So whatever is being passed in, if it is hello, how are you? which data type am I going to use with what we have said before? Did anybody say anything?
Okay, you would use string, have you? Yeah, you use
Okay, so hello, how are you? I said, okay, you said we are going to use string. Okay, so okay, you said we are going to use string say something, which is um hello, how are you? So someone asked a question, can I give the an example of the primitive and the reference type? So I said that for the primitive type, that's where we have the ints, the shorts, the bytes, the we can also the car. I've not talked about Boolean. We also have Boolean, which has true or false. That's just the value that you can have for Boolean, true or false. So if let's say you want to write, let's say you have this, you want to give some people like an exam that has to do with true or false. So you can just create that variable that has to do with a Boolean value. So Boolean, this is how it's spelled. Boolean. This Boolean value is just for true or false. So primitive type will be int char for decimal you have double floats, you have bytes, you have shorts, you also have long though. But for reference type, you have your objects really, which is like string. String is part of it, their objects. So now I said for string, say something, hello, how are you? So one of us said that we can use a single quotes. Let's try that to see. Um, mm. So now what this is saying is that what I have here, this say something can be seen as a variable, right? Because it's like what needs, it's being that say something, we want to use it to store this hello, how are you? We need to use it to store it, right? So say something is a variable, single quote is a variable. Now if I have, let's say for numbers, int numbers, right? Let's say I have 167, right? So we could see that all of it, the variable is like just a name, just like a storehouse, a placeholder for me to hold something, right? If I come to Python, my Python, baby is a variable, right? I can also have say something here. If I declare say something as 2, you just pick it as 2. If I write anything, you see that I don't really need to it's not really enforcing me to use the data type because it will determine the data type at runtime. But for Java, I need to specify the data type and also the variable to hold the value. Do we understand? Do we get it, please? This thing, maybe assignment. Please, have I answered your primitive type and object type question? Okay, so we can just try and practice, right? We can practice on variable data type with what we've learned. This is like virtually everything. It covers everything for data type and also for variable. Variable is just like your placeholder, really. Then okay, I can share this slide with you if you want, right? So in Java, I've explained this. In Python, this is how it is. But if you want to print in Java, like I want to print out whatever I have I've written. So I want to print out, this is Python. I need to print out, there's a way I can print out in Python and a way I can print out in Java. So I need to print out the content of this variable. Remember that is the variable that I'm now passing. So if you stored your rice, if you want to get your rice, you have to bring out that container for you to get the rice. The same thing here. You have to bring out the variable for you to get your content. So if I want to get the content of baby, if I run it, you see that I have 2 things declared, but it is what I want to see that I bring out. So if you have rice, beans, meat, everything, it is only what you need that you can print out. So let's print out baby and see. Okay, so my baby now, I'm getting A. Why is it not printing out baby? Can somebody explain why? I
Because
thought,
baby,
what? Hello? Someone said something. I didn't get that. Hello?
Hi.
Okay. Yeah, please go ahead. I can't hear you. Whoever is talking, Abiola John.
No, you said hello and I said hi.
Oh,
Okay, maybe I should just like ask. I wanted to ask a question, and I'm like think that maybe after the whole class that I'm going to ask. Is it the
okay, you
back
can.
the backend? Is it the Python and Java we are going to learn, or we just pick one, sir? No.
So, basically, why I'm using Python and Java is because this training is not language specific. I'm just explaining the content, what we need to learn, what we need to know as a backend developer. So it is not language specific at all. That's why I
Okay,
am even using
but what?
Java and Python, because if I write in Python, people will think, okay, this class is Python. If I write in Java, people will think this is Java. That's why I'm switching between the language. You can have just understand that it's as a backend developer, these are the things I need to know.
Okay.
Yes. All right. So
Can we have can we have the content, type of content for the whole course?
okay. So I think that should be communicated on the group.
Okay.
All right. So do we understand placeholders now, which are variable? Do we understand that now? Can I continue?
Yes.
Chidima, I can't even, you're not talking today. What's going on?
I'm sorry. Honestly, I'm multitasking. I'm just listening and doing something else here. I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. But listen, if you have any question, you can drop it on the group. It's fine.
Yeah, sure. I'm following. Thank you.
All right. All right. So the other thing, do we understand this variable thingy now? Can I move on? Can I move on?
Yeah.
Do we understand, first off, do we
Yes, ma'am.
understand data type? Do we understand variable? Can I move on? For those of us that don't have any like any prior knowledge, do we understand this? Can I move on? If you don't have like a prior experience, like you're not a front-end developer, you just want to understand backend, can you just signify in the chat, please? So that we'll know. Please, like, let's just do it for 2 minutes, please. Let's just have this thing sharp, please. So that we'll know that, okay, I understand, can go on. Nobody's talking. You guys, please now. Okay. But young saint, do you understand what I have explained? Do you have a question? A bit. Okay. Peter, do you understand it? Okay. Well, please, let's talk. Like, let's just do this thing sharp, 2 minutes. I understand. You understand. What do you say? You said something. Abiola.
I understand.
Okay, you understand. Okay. Okay. If you don't understand, you can just let me know so I can come back. Okay. Right. All right. So okay, the next thing that we'll be looking at, we've talked about variable printing, talked about printing. We are going to be looking at conditional statements, right? So I would like to give you a gist. As a programmer, if you tell me, I have a question, can a long, old, and int value? Yes. You know, it's a bigger, so if you have, let me ask you this question, Emmanuel. If I have a bottle of water, you know, there is a quantity of water that can fill that bottle. I can also use that quantity can also, I can put it inside a kettle, right? So long is bigger than int. Let's use it that way, right? And your kettle is bigger than your bottle, right? So I can do the water that can fill the kettle can also, I can put it inside the kettle, though it still have more space, right? You can still hold that water. Do you get that, Emmanuel? Emmanuel, talk, let me hear you. Emmanuel Michael, please, have I answered your question? All right. So, conditional statement, right? So, you know, our parents can say, if you do not do this thing, I am going to do this. So that conditional statement in programming is just saying that it has to do with flow of execution. If this thing will not happen, let this thing happen. If this thing happen, let this thing not happen, or let this thing happen. It depends on how you want it. So for the conditional statement, right? We have three things that should be involved. We have the condition, the statements, whether it's true or false. So let's look at it in the programming world. Okay, so this is, can I delete this, or I should just comment it out?
Comment it out now.
Okay. All right. So let's say, let me start with Java. Let's start with Java. So let's say in a proper application scenario, right? If we have if we have, you know, when you visit a site, right? If you visit a site, there are limited things you can do. They will tell you that for you to continue, you should log in, or you should register, right? So we want to use that analogy. Let's just try and look at it. You know, we've talked about data type, right? And we've talked about data type. So we want to look at it in terms of conditional statements. So I want to write like Boolean login. So in Java, whenever you have, okay, the default value of Boolean, right, of Boolean is false. So if I print this out, I don't understand this idea, seriously. Can you just, it's forcing me to, but really, if it were to be like IntelliJ, if I just, like my default value for Boolean really is false, right? For my default value for primitive type, I hope we understand what primitive type are now. The default value, if I did not put any value, what the application will be seeing is 0. For decimal number, it will be 0.00 or 0.0. Do you understand? For string or reference type, the default value for reference type is null. Null, null. Now, let us know that all of this that we have explained, we will be using it along as we are growing. We'll be using it. So now I have like Boolean, let's say the person has logged in, or someone is coming to my site, my application, right? So I'm saying that I want to check that this, you know, I've already said this, that when they are coming is false, so right. And then if I want so I'll if let's say if login, then what you need to do is that you print the login. So what am I trying to say here is that, so now I have login, right? I already said this login, no, if it is false, it should print login, right? Else, so we have the conditional statement, the way we represent it. In Java, we have if, else, else if. There's a way you represent, this is how you can represent, these are the if, else, if for Java. But for Python, you use, I don't know if you, please, if you don't understand, let me know. You can just talk. For Python, you have if, else, you have elif. So this elif means else if, right? So let me go back to what we're doing, right? I said if Boolean login is false, if it is false, right, print out what I have, print out the value. But if it is true, else, right, else, all of these things you understand. I'm just trying to explain how conditions work in programming language, right? You understand as time goes on. Else, print please log in, right? Okay. If false, right? So if login equals to, let me just put this, equals to true. Can you see what I've done here? So I'm saying, let's read this code. It's like English, right? I'm saying that, can we see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So
we
I'm
can see.
saying that this login, if this person is coming to my site, right, my application or to my, is checking some things and he wants to do some certain things, if the login is false, I've already set the login, the default login to be false. But I'm now saying that if this login is true, if you see the value of the login to be true, print out the value, this value which is false, or you can print out welcome. But if it is not true, you see that I put else. I didn't say else login equals no. I already said if this thing that you have, if this if is not true, what I need to do is I should tell that person that please log into my application. So let's run this code and see if it is going to compile. Okay, so what do you think happened here? Because you know this is now a condition. It's a conditional statement that we are trying to say that is a way to build our logic. We already have our data type. We already understand what our data type is doing. But then we need to like try and start building on it. And we are using the conditional statements as a start, right? But for a start, but what we are saying now is that I already have my if, I already have my else. But why is it that it is printing out please log in here? Why? Can somebody explain why I'm having please log in? It's all of the things we have been saying this morning. Please, oh, let me.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, please.
Okay. As you can see that we have a variable called login,
Yes.
and it's a Boolean type, and the
Okay.
variable and that login a false is assigned to that variable. So because
Okay.
a false is assigned to it, and
Okay.
then else will be printed. The reason why else will be printed is because we said if login equals true. Meanwhile, what was inside the variable login is not true. It's
Okay.
another thing else. So that is why the compiler will be moved to line 24, and it will now execute what is inside those curly brace, starting from
Okay.
line 24 to line
So
27.
okay, thank you very, very, very much. I really appreciate. So what you are saying now is that we have our check. First of all, check is the this variable login, the value that it has, is it true? You saw that this value is not true. I cannot print this thing. You now came to this else. You said, oh, else, that means login is equals to false, right? Let me print this one. Okay, so I am going to be changing it to true now. This time I'm calling somebody to tell me the name. See, you have to tell me. Let me look for one person to call. We are all learning together. Let me see. Thank God. Thank God. Please unmute yourself and speak. Let's hear your beautiful handsome voice. Is Thank God on this call?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, so I really don't know much about it. I'm just learning.
Yes, with all the things we have been learning, what do you think will be displayed from our output? You know, we've already changed this to true now. What will be displayed?
I think it should be able to log in then.
Yeah, so what will be displayed? Is it login?
I don't know. Is it false?
Okay, so this is, you know, we already have Boolean login. Boolean is the data type, right? You know that Boolean is a data type, right?
Okay.
This login is the variable. That's the container that is holding our rice, our beans, our everything. But what this login is holding now is true. You know, we already said Boolean can only hold true or false, right? So
Yeah.
what I'm now saying is, you know, we are now talking about conditional statements. So like when our parents can say, the way they used to do for me, Esther, if you not do this thing, if you not do this thing now, what I'm going to do to you, that means I have to go and do it, or else something will happen to me. So now,
True.
if login, see that variable that we have, login is true, then print out welcome. If it is not true, that's why we have else. Print out please login. But now we have true. The login is true. What will be printed?
False. Is it false?
The login, this variable that we have, which is login, is true. But we have if login equals true. Is the login true or false from what we have here?
The login there on Boolean is true.
Is true. So what will be printed? Hey, look at what you have. If login is true, what will be printed?
Welcome. Please
Oh,
move your hand.
welcome. Okay. So let's check if Thank God is saying the truth or Hey, thank God is a programmer. Ooh.
Did I get it?
All right, so do we understand this concept of variable, conditionals? Do we understand it? Can I go ahead? Can I go ahead, please? Somto, do you understand? Sule Ibrahim, do you understand? Can I continue? Please just, okay.
Yes,
Yes,
yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes, I understand. You can continue.
All right. So, all right. Now, we want to use the three conditionals that we have. We also have, okay, let me not just put the switch, but that's advanced. This if, right? Let's say I want to use else if. I'll still go to Python, right, to explain it so that we can see that they are the same thing. If you understand it here, you understand it you'll be able to get it in your other. So if I okay, so if I want to use, let's say I want to use reference data type, right? Reference data type, and you should be able to tell me what reference data type is now, right? So if I want to use reference data type, let me look for somebody to tell me the reference data type that we have. Don't worry. Emmanuel, reference data type that we have. Can you tell me? Unmute yourself so you can tell me.
Sorry, what was the question again?
Please, can you tell me the reference data type that we have?
Reference data type.
Yes. Tell me what example of reference data type that we have.
String, right?
Okay. Yes, string.
It's stored in the
Okay.
stack.
Okay. These bros don't sabi everything. God, I beg. All right. So I want to use the reference data type now. The string. So for my string now, string login. So can you give, someone should give us an example of something that we need to represent using conditionals, right? So I'm trying to look at it. Let's say maybe our transaction, and someone just give me an example, like just tell me an application that we need to, let's say we want to quickly check, like a check in an application. Give us an example so we can use the conditional statement.
If you're trying to check if a user's account is either savings or current.
Okay, if the user's account is either savings or current. Okay. So we can do that. Okay, so if the user's account is, let's use user's account, right? So in Java, right? In Java, what they allow basically is, and we don't allow all these snake case kind of. What they allow is, I think is a camel case. So you start with small letter when you have something like this. Okay, I think it's not even necessary. If you want to learn a particular language, you start to understand their use case. But here we are just talking about conditionals. So let's say the user's account savings. Okay, so if the user's account is user's account, if the name of the user account is if the user's account is
Repayment.
please give me a minute.
Can we use loan?
All right, so if the user's account is current, right? If the user's account is current, then you say, this is a current account. But else, if the user's account is just if the user's account is like else if the user's account is like no, you can just tell them that okay, we'll soon be rounding up, right? The next teacher will continue like next week. So you can just type message or you type savings. So from here, you should be able to say that, okay, this if with what I have here, the user's account is not current, the user's account is not null. What it will do is it is going to print out savings. So let's run this and see. So it's just for us to understand what all of this are doing, right? So we have a lot to cover, but we have another class and they are going to be using it. But if you have any question, you can drop it on the group. I'll try to answer it. Right, and you can also check loops. You won't be able to look at loops. You won't be able to look at functions and method or method. So before we go, this is already like, let me check. 2:24. You can just ask your question, right? Or if you want us to like extend the class, I don't know if I'll be available tomorrow.
Sorry, I have a question.
Yes.
In that else if statement, the message there is it like the message from the null exception?
No, it's not from no, that one is you are just going, you are pushing us forward. You are taking it to step. That's exception. It's not, I was the one that wrote this message. If you look at it, you
Oh,
can see,
okay. I thought it was
yeah,
like from the null exception. Sorry.
no, not from any exception. I was the one that wrote it.
All
We all understand all of the things that I've explained. So today we learned about data type, we learned about variable, we learned about condition. So you should be able to read the condition, even if you don't understand the code very well. If they bring condition for you, you should be, this thing, if this thing is not correct, that means you should not do this. That means you should do this. Do we get it? Do we understand it? Blessing, do you understand it? Chidima, Divine, Emmanuel, Juliet, Faith, Parimade, Joshua, Michael, Peter, Somto, Ibrahim, Chibueze, Tango. Do we all understand what I've said?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, we do.
Thank you.
Okay, so I've not heard some other person's voice. Divine, I've not heard your voice, so.
Thank you.
All right, so I can share if you need the slide, I can share with you. And then if you need us to, like, I don't know, if you need us to have the class finish up tomorrow, because before another lecturer comes in to teach next week, you can always have it, right? Or if you have any question, really, you can just ask on the group. I'll be willing to answer you. All right. So I guess that should be all. Any other question? Any other question? If you have a question, you can ask before we go. If it's about all of the things I've mentioned, from the data type to the variables to conditional statement. If you have any question, just let me know. Before we'll be exit the class by 2:30. Okay. So I guess we don't have any question. Let's all have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
You're welcome. Bye. Bye, guys. Bye, everyone.